one.
మీరే రికార్డింగ్ చేయండి.
Okay, brother. Already I started.
తర్వాత ఇచ్చేయండి.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good morning to everyone. I am Manikanta Brundavanapu. Yeah, now I am going to discussing about the topic P2P process. Now I am going to share my screen. Please confirm it is visible or not. Hello, anyone please confirm it is visible or not?
Yeah, visible, Manikanta.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm going to discussing about the topic P2P process, right?
Okay.
I'm going to first second slide one. Yeah. So generally in nowadays ERP applications has simplified the business processes. In big companies we have separate teams for different business functions like accounts payable team, accounts receivable team, general accounting team, banking team, taxation team and finalization team, etc. Actually ERP has simplified all the business process. So by using these different teams we can do our work very fast, at the same time very accurate manner, and ERP made it easy to understand the business processes also. So now going to discussing about the procure to pay process. Yes, procure to pay, that means purchase to pay. Procure to pay is also called as a purchase to pay. Sometimes it is called as a secure to settled. So basically procure means to obtain something. Yeah, it is the process of obtaining and managing the raw materials needed for manufacturing a product. The motto is to manufacture a product or providing a services. Yeah, already I mentioned procure to pay process is also called as a security settled. Yeah, procure to pay process is related to the purchase which is required for particular department in the organization. Yeah, accounts payable is a part of P2P. So P2P has a cycle. It has a number of processes, and account payable is one of the part in that. So P2P process has the following steps or process flow as under. So now I'm going to explaining about P2P cycle process. This has a number of processes like materials requirement planning, purchase requisition, request for quotation and vendor selection, purchase order, goods receipt, invoice receipt, next step is payment to vendor, and finally reconciliation. So these are the processes, I mean steps in the P2P cycle. So now going to discuss about material requirement planning in the form like in this MRP. So P2P cycle starts whenever we found any shortage or requirement of material or service in any department within an organization. So material requirement planning is about to plan for the material for manufacturing a product. Sometimes some departments have some materials required, so that at that time material requirement planning organize everything for the materials at the period of time. Material requirement planning figure out what supplied material you will need and when you will need. It controls MRP procedure, pricing, material valuation. Yeah, and coming to the purchase requisition. Yes, purchase requisition is nothing but a request, like user department, which department wants to get some products or service. So that department will raise the request to purchase department for the procurement of material or service by raising a purchase requisition. In SAP the transaction code for purchase requisition ME51N. Yes, whenever the particular department that wants to get a particular product, at that time the department raise a request to the purchase department. So the department receives, that means purchase department receives the request from the the user department. And the second slide, I mean, going to the next slide, request for quotation. So purchasing department starts a procurement process. In this process, they they request for the quotation from the outside parties. Why? Because we need material. Why? Because purchasing department wants to get materials from the outside parties. So at that time, they request for quotation. That means to the vendors. So purchase department request for quotation from open market from different vendors. We should request minimum 3 quotations. Maximum number is also required, but minimum at least 3 quotations required from the vendors. Quotation contains vendor terms and conditions, all those things it must contains. And vendor selection. Actually, before selection of vendor, and we need agreement. According to law, agreement and contract. That means all agreements are not contracts, but all contracts are agreements. So we need a contract with the vendor. So after receiving the quotations, relevant departments like purchase department, user department, finance department mutually select a vendor on the basis of quality, price, vendor relation, and vendor history. We need to check vendor history and he is a correct person or not. He delivers a product in time or not to our organization. So these things required while selecting a vendor. So this is the vendor selection. We need in this purchase department, user department, finance department, these 3 departments involves to selection to the vendor. And purchase order. Purchase department will issue a purchase order to selected vendor. Yes. Purchase order may have the information like order type, vendor, material, quantity, purchase price, delivery date, terms of payment. Okay. In SAP, by using the transaction code ME21N, this transaction code is helpful to create a purchase order in SAP system. Right. Going for the next slide. Okay. Yes, my voice is audible to everyone. Please confirm anyone.
Yeah, Harival.
Yeah, thank you. And goods received. Yes, goods received. After completing the purchase order, vendor will issue goods as per purchase order. Right? Purchase order includes all those things like material, quantity, and all those things purchase order contains. Based on that, we will receive goods at factory or plant, etc. So or create a goods receipt note when receiving the goods at factory or plant in our organization. So up to purchase order, there is no entry to this process. Whenever we receive the goods in the factory or plant, entry will be made like inventory account data to GRIR clearing account. Yes. Why? Because inventory coming to our organization, that's why we need to debit our inventory, and the second one GRIR clearing account credit. Yes, after explaining the invoice received, why GRIR clearing account we are maintaining, I will explain about after that invoice received. Yes, coming to the invoice received. When organization receives invoice received will be posted by using T code MIRO. In goods received, the T code MIGO for posting the goods received, and invoice received transaction code MIRO. These invoice should be checked by the financial team, and entry will be like GRIR clearing account data to vendor account, right? So this is the entry for invoice received after processing after receiving an invoice from the vendor. So GRIR clearing account is a temporary account. Yes, GRIR clearing account is a temporary account. Why? Because while receiving a goods receipt, we are not receiving an invoice receipt. At that time, we need to make an temporary account. So that is a GRIR clearing account. In the invoice receipt also, we should maintain the GRIR clearing account. Whenever we clear the all those things, GRIR clearing account will be nullified. And I am going to the next slide. Yes, payment to a vendor. Payment to a vendor. After financial department approves the invoices and they check invoices compared to the purchase order, then payment to the they wants to pay vendor. Yes, in this three-way matching, two-way matching, those things are required. In the three-way matching, like goods receipt, purchase order, and invoice, these things comes under the three-way matching, and the two-way matching in the purchase order and invoice, these things required for it. Based on the terms of company, they will follow. Yes, payment to a vendor. As per the payment terms mentioned in the purchase order, financial department will release the payment to a vendor. At that time, the entry will be made like vendor account the data. That means vendor is a receiver to the bank clearing account. Yes, bank clearing account. Next, reconciliation. So after receiving of bank statement is uploaded in SAP. Automatically reconciliation happens. Then entry will be made like bank clearing account. At the time of payment to the vendor, we credited the bank clearing account. Now we are debiting the bank clearing account to main bank account. Finally, vendor to main bank account. Yes, this is the process of procure to pay cycle or purchase to pay, P2P, secure to settle, whatever it may be we call. So in the real time, P2P cycle has number of departments like MRN. In the real time purchase requisition is the one of the team is there. The request for the their request to the particular product, and then they raise the request to a purchasing department. And purchasing department, it is one of the team is there. The purchasing department starts to procure the products from the outside vendors. Yes, in the real time, vendor master data team is there. They create vendor master data, you know different levels like general data, company code data, and purchasing organization data. Three levels. The vendor master, in the 3 levels, vendor master will be created. The vendor master data executive will create the vendor master data, and then purchase order. For the purchase order, this is one of the team is there. They always orders the purchase order based on the requirement. And goods receipt at, well, because at the real time goods receipt storekeeper is there. While receiving the goods, he will pass the entry like inventory account the data to GRIR clearing account. He will make that entry at the time of receiving the goods at factory or plant in our organization. And invoice receipt, invoice processing. Accounts payable team is there. They always check the invoices compared with the purchase order. After verifying the invoice, they will process that invoice. And real-time payment to the payment team is there. Once processing the invoice, they will make to pay such a they will make to pay amount to the particular vendor, which vendor we selected. And reconciliation team is there. They reconcile the final entry like vendor to the main bank clearing account data to main bank account. Bank clearing account data to main bank account. This entry will be made after reconciliation team. And finally, we should evaluate and reporting to the manager about the vendor and history and all those things regarding for the vendor. We need to report to the manager in our organization. And query, that means help desk department also there in our in many MNC companies, like they will follow the some terms, like solve the issues from the vendor based on the service legal agreement, right? SLA, based on the SLA agreement, they will solve the issues about the vendor, like payments, discounts, and regarding for the transactions. So this type of some issues will be made by the vendor. So at that time, help desk is there to resolve the issues for the vendor. So I think 8 or 9 teams are there in this process. So I'm going to discussing about the FI2MM integration. FI2MM integration. Before going to discuss it, already I mentioned about transaction codes are very important for posting the particular transactions in our SAP systems. That's goods receipt, the invoice, the goods receipt, the transaction code is MIGO, and then invoice receipt MIRO, and before that purchase requisition is there. Purchase requisition. So purchase requisition transaction code ME51N. Payment to the vendor. Yes, we can payment to the vendor. There are two types of payments. There are two ways are there in SAP, like manual payment, and automatic payment program, APP. So manual program, the transaction code is F-53, and then automatic payment program F110. We should configure the details in FBZB, and after that we need to pay by using F110 in APP. Yes, FI2MM integration. Now coming to the FI2MM integration. Yes, we have processes in P2P cycle. So up to purchase order, there is no entry. So whenever we receive the goods, entry will be made. Yes, material management is the costing unit for every organization. Each and every activity which spend money should be captured with the financial team. That financial team always deals with the money. Yeah, already discussed. Up to purchase order, there is no accounting entry. At the time of only goods received, FI2MM integration will be happening using the T code OBYC. Yes, it is one of the important T code OBYC. We need to assign as a FI consultant, we need to assign the GLs OBYC, at OBYC. So based on these factors, based on the factors, FI/MM integration will be happen. Those factors are movement type, valuation class, transaction keys, valuation modifier, material type. These factors are by using these factors we can made FI2MM integration. Movement type. Yes, movement type. So movement types in SAP, we have a number of movement types in MM. Movement types like goods received movement type 101, and reversal of goods received movement type 102, and return to the goods to the vendor movement type 120, and number of movement types are there in and then coming to the valuation classes. So valuation classes, each and every material have a valuation class. Like these are the raw material, semi-finished goods, finished goods. So raw material, like in SAP standard, like 3000 and semi-finished goods 7000 and 7000 and finished goods 7920. So different classes are available in and the transaction keys. So transaction keys are used to storage control and filling of documents and assignment of document. Like VSX related regarding with the stock posting, WRX for GRIR clearing account, GBB for cost of goods sold, like PRD price difference. These different types of transaction keys are available. Valuation modifier. So yes, valuation modifier is also called as a grouping code. It is very important. Even we have one valuation area, we should assign to the valuation modifier. Control the valuation modifier in the in SAP T code OMWM, and we can create a valuation modifier by using the T code OMWD. So valuation modifier is one of the important thing, and these are the factors, and the one material type is there. Material type is also very important. Yes, material type we should maintain in material master data. Different materials types are there. Standard type ROH for raw material, HAWA HAWA for trading goods, FIT for FERD FIT for the finished goods, HALB for the semi-finished goods. So these are the different types of material types also there. So by using this we can define the material types. So based on these factors, all these factors, FI to integration will be happening in SAP systems. Okay. I will show some movement types. So I think my screen is visible right now to everyone. I think the goods receipt movement type 101 and reversal for goods received movement type 102. Return of goods to vendor movement type 122. Return of goods to vendor unknown reason. For unknown reason 161. Goods issued to production order movement type 261. Scrapping of goods movement type 551. Goods issued to production order movement type 601. Offsetting entry for stock posting 561. Not only these movement types, we have number of movement types available in SAP systems, right? These are the some movement types. And already discussing about valuation classes, 3000 for raw materials, 7900 for semi-finished goods, 7900 and 7920 for finished goods. These are the valuation classes.
Yeah,
So one of the
Manikanta, here 3000, 7900, 7900 is there, no? That is a numeric digits. This is not compulsory for all the in real time. It will be changes.
Yes. But SAP provides these as a standard. We can using this one. We can make raw material for not only 3000. We can make like HARA, whatever it may be you want. You can create. These are the basic standards. So that's why I'm explaining for giving a basic knowledge to the everyone. So that's why.
So as per client requirement also it will be changed.
Yes. VSX stock posting, WRX, GBB for offsetting entry for the stock posting, not for the cost of goods sold. PRD, price difference, and KYN, consignment liabilities, all those things. So these are the some factors for to happening FIT integration. And yes, I hope I completed my presentation. If you have any doubts on my presentation, please go ahead. And otherwise, I think one of the presentation is there. I mean, by others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brother. Thank you.
Very good.
Nice presentation. What is your actually?
Hello.
Presentation.
Yeah, others brother. Cheppandi.
Okay.
Stop record and re-record, please.
అదే డాక్యుమెంట్ షేర్ చేయండి మణికంఠ.
Definitely, brother. Definitely.
థ్యాంక్ యూ. చాలా బాగుంది.